Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the Studio Calico Double Scoop, and it was the September kit. This is the 27th layout using this kit and it took me 52 minutes to complete. I'm showing you some of the products that I may be using. This is the Amy Tangerine stickers. I'm going to use what's left over in the kit. There's not too many things left over. There was some stickers from the Dear Lizzie, and it's just the leftovers from the tags, and I'm going to use those. Those came, the first three on top came from a 4x6 pad that I had ordered with the kit. And then these are some of the pattern papers, and these pattern papers, they're the same. The tone is totally different. I think the manufacturer was 437 or something like that. And it's a very flimsy pattern paper, so I'm going to use one of them as the background. And I'm not going to do this on camera, but the page is very flimsy. So once everything was done and I was actually ready to take the pictures of it for the voiceover, I was like, oh my goodness, this is way too flimsy. So I cut a 1/4 inch all the way around, and then I mount it on black cardstock, and it actually frames the layout really well. And you'll probably be able to see it in the still pictures, but I do photograph on a black background, so I don't know how much you'll be able to tell. So I don't end up using a lot of pattern paper on this. I mean, I do use the scallop as the background and then the stripe to mount the photo. But the rest is just going to be 4x6. Like I'm going to cut apart that little 4x6 that is all full of frames. And I'm going to use the frames on this layout. And then I'm going to use some Project Life cards. And this picture is of my daughter. We were walking in one of those walkovers, I guess, and it walks over a certain street, and it connects two buildings together, and so it keeps you out of the cold or whatever. And she was like, oh, this is cool, I want to do one of her stands or whatever. So she did it, and I took a picture, and the title of this page is Always in Cheer Mode. And now I want to use some of these vellum stickers from Amy Tangerine. But I didn't want the sticker to fade into the background because they are vellum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it on some white paper. Now I couldn't find a piece of cardstock that was big enough for that doily, so I just took an old piece of pattern paper that wasn't double-sided. The backside was white in my scraps, and I glued it to the back of that. And now I'm going to cut around the scallops of the doily, and then I have an extra embellishment. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the gray doily, and I'm going to use it on this layout. And it's going to take me a few minutes to get those all cut up. Now, like I said, this was the 27th layout. I'm actually working on layout 31 right now. And I did a little bit yesterday, but I was working last night. And then I have to leave for work in about 2 hours. And I could have worked on the layout, but I decided to do 2 voiceover instead, so that I would have a video to put up today and tomorrow. Now, like I said, there's not a lot of pattern papers, so basically that stripe one is the only one I'm going to use on this layout. I took a Project Life card that was all these little banners. I cut it in half. I'm going to put it to the top left and then bottom right, and then I'm going to put some doilies, those little frames, and a few other little embellishments. This was a super quick layout. It came together fairly fast, and my sticker books are getting pretty depleted, so I went and got that sticker sheet there from Amy Tangerine to try to help me out into using, a little bit more stickers. And again, I'm going to use those label leftovers. And when I'm done with this kit, there's not even going to be the label leftovers. Like, I've just used everything from those labels, even the outline of them. And I'm really liking that look where I glue everything down and then I take the layout or the outline of the label and then I use that as a grounding element. I'm going to use that washi tape, and it looks it's a nice color of pink, and it's really subtle, and it's just got hexagons on it, but I just felt like it went with this layout really well. Now I feel like I have a pretty good sense of how this layout's going to go. So I'm going to glue everything down. And once I have the base of my page, which this time around it's not very much, it's only the photos only matted once, and then those two, or that one Project Life card that I cut in half. And now I'm going to start gluing down the embellishments. And I have 3 doilies, but they're not all the same colors. I just wanted to, that doily, I said gray, but it's almost black. Like, it can pass as black. And this layout is pink and black and a few other splashes of color. Now I'm going to add some washi tape to the 3 areas of the page. And then I'm also going to add those little frames. They're just so cute. And there was some frames like that on the back of one of the pattern papers, but I liked the A side better than the B side, so I never did end up using any of those frames. So that's why I wanted to cut apart that little 4x6 and get the, get to use the frames that way. That washi tape was a little crooked, so I somewhat fixed it. It still looks a little crooked, but I think what happened is my whole cluster is a little crooked. So, and I don't end up fixing it. I'm just going to leave it. Now I'm going to use some of those stars that came in this month's kit. They were from Studio Calico. And I'm going to glue down a few stickers. I'm going to put some foam tape in behind that sticker to kind of pop it up a little bit. And the foam tape is from Scotch 3M, and I got it at Custom Crops. I took a feather that came in one of the sticker books. And again, I just kind of, because she's a flyer, whenever I can put a little birdie or a feather or anything like that, it's just to represent that she's a flyer. And now I'm going to use the outlines of those label stickers, the leftover, and I'm going to put them in the 3 different clusters. And I leave them on the sticker sheet until I'm ready to use them. I don't even bother with the EK Success powder tool because they're so thin. I mean, it literally is the outline. But I really like what it does to the pages. It just kind of adds a little something something, when you don't know what else to do. I just find that it adds that little something that you need. And I decide to use the same 3 sizes of the stars, just the little pink ones. And then I did put a foam tape in behind the feather just so that it wouldn't lay flat. It kind of had a little bit of a pop up off the page. And then now I'm kind of looking at the page going, okay, what else can I add to this? And I don't have a title. And I don't have the journaling card yet, so I still have to get that done. But I believe at this point I went looking for my twine. And I think that's what I went to get. I'm going to glue down that sticker that says "You Make My Heart Sing." And now I'm going to finish with those stars, and I'm going to cut out 3 strands of twine, and I'm going to put it in the 3 different little clusters. I just like to add that at the end. It's just kind of one little last thing to add. It adds dimension to the page. It adds movement, and I really like that. And it adds the, kind of really accents the color that you're trying to portray. I could have actually put black and white if I wanted to, and that would have given a totally different look. At that point, I didn't know I was going to mount the whole thing on black. To do it again, I probably would put the twine with the black and white. But now that it's done and over with, I'm not going to do that. Like I'm okay with the way it is. And now I'm looking for some stickers, and these are October Afternoon stickers. And again, the title is going to be always in cheer mode. So I'm going to use 4 different types of alphas, and that's another thing I like to do. I like to vary my titles. And also my titles, sometimes, like the page right before this, it was first day of school, like very obvious what the title should be. But a lot of times, I think if you go back on my layouts, I try to make my title a little bit more than what is going on the page. And sometimes it comes to me while I'm doing the page, and sometimes I need to walk away and kind of think about it. Like this one, it was just like when I did that, I was just like, oh my goodness, that kid is always in cheer mode. And that's where the title came from. So I'm going to put it right there with the banners, the 3x4 card. And then I'm going to find another 3x4 card, and I'm going to put it to the right of the layout, and that's where I'm going to do my journaling. I'm just putting my stickers away. The last time I went on a scrapping binge, I guess you could call it, that I scrapped a whole bunch of pages all at once, my room ended up in, oh my goodness, it was awful. And I said, I'm never doing that again. So I'm just making sure that as I'm scrapping, I'm putting the stickers back into the sticker sheets. So this is the journaling card that I decide on. And I'm going to glue it right there. And I'm just going to do a little bit of journaling. And then I'm going to take out, I think the battery's going to die, but I'm going to take out my box, and I'm going to ink it in black and in pink. And then I'm going to show you a few close-ups of each of the little clusters so you can see how everything is kind of sitting beside each other. And that's it. The page is done. So thanks for watching. Bye.